OK, so at the start of that, you'll have heard that Benjamin White's out for a few games and Gabriel potentially back to face Aston Villa. Would you say that's positive, Jay? Good morning, by the way.
Good morning, mate. I would go with, it's positive, of course, because you want your best players back as soon as possible, and Gabriel definitely is that. But I look at this now, and based upon them comments there that Arteta said, he's on the pitch. On the pitch, how is he on the pitch? If he's just running on the pitch, that's not soon enough for me to put him back in a game like Aston Villa.
Well, Villa's the 30th of December.
Yeah, so it's
now
11
the 19th,
days.
And you've got Everton away, Palace at home in the Cup, Brighton at home in between that.
I think people need to take into consideration as well, like, this time now is not training time, it's recovery. Right, so you play games every few days, then you recover. So he won't even be training with the squad a lot leading up to that Aston Villa game. He might be in and out. He's going to come into sessions and do that and everything. And I'm sure he's going to want to play as well, knowing like the character of the way Gabriel is. But I wouldn't risk him in that game. I think that's a risk. It's too soon. He's been out for a while now, 11 days away from that Aston Villa game. I wouldn't risk him. There's much more important games coming up the turn of the year as well.
Well, talking about injuries, Arsenal legend Thierry Henry has warned Arsenal that injuries are not an excuse in the title race. You've been saying that all season.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. You know, the great one, most of what he says is absolutely spot on, and this is exactly the same. Arteta now, he spent £1 billion on players since he's been at the club. Yes, Arteta's taken the club forward, there's no doubt about that. There's been lots of changes, lots and lots of positives from Arteta, but Arsenal need a major now. And it, like I said, you know, the League Cup, no disrespect to the domestic cups, they're just not important. Arsenal need a major, which is obviously the Champions League or the Premier League.
OK, well, this weekend it's Everton away, as you rightly said. Now, they actually only managed 2 draws against Everton last season, Arsenal. Does that play on your mind?
I think Everton they're a difficult team to play against. The only positives would be Ndai's not playing. Obviously, he's such an important player. And Gay, he's not going to be there either. He's very important to them. But nonetheless, they are an organised team. They're difficult to break down. They're good in both boxes on set pieces. They're very aggressive. And it's going to be a tough one. So, I mean, these next 3 games are really tough for Arsenal. Everton, Brighton at home, Aston Villa at home. They're all 3 tough games. And they've all, you know, in the past, they've all been games that Arsenal have struggled against. They've all been teams that Arsenal have struggled against. So these next 3 games is we're really going to see what Arsenal are made of.
Yeah, and don't forget there is that League Cup quarter-final on Tuesday night as well to throw into that.
Yeah, but that League Cup quarter-final, again, this is that's for the fringe players that are not playing and the young players. I don't think he'll play any first-team players in that. You know, the ones that are on the bench, maybe, but definitely no first-team ones. They might be on the bench, but that's about it.
Like their styles to adapt to each other, but the manager says Gyokeres has coped well with the scrutiny on him since joining the club and has backed him to go on a scoring run soon.
The level of attention on him, it hasn't changed since he signed to today. It's normal. You know, everybody was so excited to bring a 9 into the club. We did it. We brought a player with an incredible goal-scoring record that had to adapt to the league. He had no preseason. The first few weeks was difficult because physically he wasn't in his best state, and he's a player that needs that like any other player in this league almost to perform at that level. Then he kicked on. I think he had a really good period and got injured. And now he's back to his bed. I saw a lot of positive things in the last 2 games that he's done. We need to continue to tweak and understand him a little bit better in certain situations, and he needs to do the same. But that's about time, and we have full support for him. You can imagine the global impact that you're going to have to deal with when you come to a big club and the expectation are as it is, but after you have to live it, and living it is always slightly different to your imagination, but he's doing it with a lot of desire. I think his energy level, his commitment, it's absolutely top. And we are here all to help him because we all been here. We all need time. There is always moments, and the strikers have moments. They score more goals, less goals, and we need to be there for him.
So, with Victor Gyokeres, Jay, does he need to adapt his game? Do Arsenal need to adapt their game? And either way, should they have gone for a striker where he wouldn't have to adapt his game?
I mean, listen, Gyokeres definitely needs to improve his game. he has been bought to score goals. He has not been bought to take time, to adapt and to all these things. Like Arteta said there, he's played in Europe, he's played in the Portuguese league, he's scored a whole heap of goals. Yes, he hasn't had a pre-season, so let me say that is very hard as a player, not to have a pre-season and then come in and hit the ground running. So I'm going to back Arteta on that because I know how important that is. And as well, even when you come back, you start picking up injuries because your legs and your muscles are not conditioned the way they were when you have a pre-season. But when I hear things about hard work and occupying defenders and these kind of things that I've heard, they just sound like excuses because every footballer should be working hard. And to sign a striker just to occupy defenders is not good enough. One thing I think that Arteta could do to help him is put Madueke on the left. Obviously, when Saka's playing, put Madueke on the left. He will put crosses in the box. Arsenal don't put enough crosses in the box for the likes of Gyokeres. So I've got sympathy for him there. But in terms of goals, I think he just needs to improve his game. He is not playing for Sporting no more. Them runs down, the side of the box, how he scored a lot of goals. It doesn't happen. That goal that he scored against Leeds, that reminds me a bit of the kind of goals he scores when he was at Sporting. But he needs to change his game. He needs to be able to come into them deep positions, receive the ball. His link-up play needs to be better. If he's not scoring, then he needs to hold the ball up. He needs to be more of a presence in the box aerially as well. So I'm not going to give him, I'm going to give him the benefit and the doubt of the pre-season. And it's never easy going into a new team. But when I hear people start talking about, he works hard and, occupying defenders and all this kind of things, I don't agree with that. You don't spend big money on strikers for that reason.
We could go down a rabbit hole, couldn't we, with the left on the left, right foot on the right, because a striker would prefer that, wouldn't they? Because that's when the ball goes into a striker.
Listen, there's no doubt about it.
These days, it's the other way around, isn't it? They cut in.
100%, Tom. And the reason why I don't mention Saka is because Saka does both. He gets to the line, he uses his right foot, he puts crosses, across the box. He comes inside, he bends things in. He does that. On the left-hand side, when Martinelli plays especially, he does not cross the ball. And that's a problem for someone like Gyokeres. Gyokeres, he does make them runs across defenders. He does peel off, but you need someone that can put them balls up, like Man City does for Haaland. I think Gyokeres needs to kind of take that role. If anything, he should be looking at Haaland saying, that's the way I need to play within this team. But then the players need to find him as well. The likes of Odegaard, they need to start looking. Straight away, you need to look for Gyokeres. Is Gyokeres there? Yes, Saka's our talisman. But ultimately, you want your striker to get at least 20. If he was to score 20 Premier League goals in the season, Arsenal are definitely going to be in with a shout to win the league. They already are, but he needs to get on the goals. He needs to score some goals and get that confidence that he had when he was in Portugal.
Well, he is coming back from injury. A lot of people have been out for Arsenal. A lot of people still are out. But Thierry Henry has said that's no excuse for not winning the title.
No, it's definitely.
Remind the viewers that you agree.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with Thierry. I think when you look at the squad now, there's depth there, players. Early on in the season when Arsenal were getting injuries, I didn't even notice it, to be honest, because I was just like, we've got depth where players can come in and there's not a huge drop-off now. You see Madueke coming there doing fantastically well. There was even, some loose conversation, especially with me and my friends, is, would you put Saka on the left as well and then play Madueke at the same time, vice versa? But Arsenal have depth now, and every team is going to have injuries, especially in this period, this Christmas period, where there's so many games. There's going to be suspensions. But there can be no excuses for Arteta now. He spent a lot of money. And when you spend a lot of money and you have all your players there and you have the depth, you have to bring home silverware. And, regardless of what Arteta says, a community shield, it's a glorified friendly. Players are not even going all out in that, so no one wants to hear about a community shield. And I'm sure a lot of people are not going to accept a domestic trophy. It has to be a major now. And that's what happens when you spend £1 billion on players. You need to go and win a major.
Okay.
With 97 injuries, with Arsenal's North London rivals Spurs sitting third on 90. Is this a problem? Is this a major problem for Arsenal? Could it cost them the title, Dan, do you think? Well, I think looking in the past, I think it's cost Liverpool the title when the season Van Dijk got injured. They didn't have any defenders. I think it cost Man City last year when a lot of their defenders were injured and they couldn't really put a back four out consecutively. I think with Arsenal this year, look, they have had injuries, yes, but they're in probably a 3-4 year cycle where they've actually built a squad capable of sustaining that. So yes, Gabriel and Saliba have been injured. They have the two boys come in Nketiah Mosquera. Yeah, they're not probably at the level yet, but they're still really, really good players. I think they've got two in every position. I think confidence-wise, if you look at the team and you don't have Gabriel and Saliba in it, yes, it can have an effect on you. It can probably lift the other team up when the team sheets come in the dressing room an hour and a half before the game and you see your first choice centre-half's not in it, you can get a bit of a boost. Really, really good players. I think they've got two in every position. I think confidence-wise, if you look at the team and you don't have Gabriel and Saliba in it, yes, it can have an effect on you. It can probably lift the other team up when the team sheets come in the dressing room an hour and a half before the game and you...
City now breathing down their necks. How are they feeling right now?
They'll be confident. They're, like you say, they're top of the league. They've performed in every game and the Champions League. They're top of the Champions League as well, by the way. So they're one of the strongest teams in world football right now, and they'll feel that. They'll feel that the pressure is on them to win. I think it's their time. That's what they'll feel in the dressing room. I believe that. But yeah, City aren't going to make it easy, and also Aston Villa as well. They're thereabouts. So I don't see Villa challenging Arsenal in the long run. But City will be, and it's going to be a great title race.
I mean, Aston Villa, Dave, we must have been doing Premier League shows in the early weeks of the season when they didn't win in the first 5 games, didn't win a game until the end of September. Everyone was scratching their heads going, what's going on with Villa and Emery?
Yeah, they didn't score a goal either till the back end of September. It has been a remarkable turnaround. There was the game against Sunderland where Emery, after that game, described his players as lazy. I think following that remark, I think he thought he maybe went a little bit too far with that. There has been a response from the side and they've slowly worked their way into this position. I don't think the Sunderland game they absolutely started hitting top form. It's been a slowly developing train, if you like, and they had the victory at Brighton and they're following that up. I think it's 9 in a row now in all competitions. And City have done it twice previously. We haven't seen Arsenal do it yet. I believe Arsenal kept staying in that. So yes, Gabriel and Saliba have been injured. They're in probably a 3-4 year cycle where they've actually built a squad capable of...
Has just been speaking to the media ahead of Arsenal's game away at Everton tomorrow night, and there was some more positive news on the injury front on Gabriel and first Benjamin White.
White, obviously we think he's got some kind of hamstring issue. He's had a scan. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, he's out. He's evolving well. It's not a major injury, but it will keep him out for a few games, I think.
Oh, so better than maybe it's been reported out there. It's not a major hamstring problem.
I don't think it's going to be, and Ben is a really fast healer as well. So let's hope that we're going to have him in the next few games.
Also, I'm seeing reports that there might be a bit of a target for Gabriel in terms of that big Aston Villa match on the 30th of this month. Would that be about what you were aiming for?
He's pushing hard, as he always does every time he's out, and he's evolving really well. He's doing pitch sessions, so he's not too far. We have to see in the last stages of that rehab how he progresses, but we are quite positive about it.
And earlier this week, I think it was Tuesday, we were allowed him to do our initial 15 minutes of access to the cameras to train.
What did you get from it?
We got the fact that a really happy bunch.
Okay.
A group of Premier League winners in the making.
No.
And no Zubimendi, certainly while we were there. I just wanted to check that was just part of his normal process.
Yeah, that was load management for a few players that played out of minutes recently, so that's probably the reason why.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much.
6 years as you kick off against Everton tomorrow exactly.
Okay.
Has it gone quickly or slowly?